flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you get the same thing, you can just plug it in.
Has council had the opportunity to review the meeting minutes of October 1st? If so, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion from Robin, second from Becky. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any changes to this evening's agenda? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the set agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Guests in open forum. This evening, we are joined by the Archery Club, and I would like to invite up Chad Dullheimer on behalf of the club to say a couple words.
We are here to just say thank you. I was just thinking on the way here, the last time we spoke, I was wearing the exact same outfit. But it's been washed. This is about 1/10 of our team. And you may not realize that I think this team has been in existence for about 7 years. I think the first year where we were right around 80. Last year, we hit 276 archers. And this year, as of right now, we got a future one back there too, pointing. I think we're at 266 as of last night. We'll probably get a couple stragglers. So what does that mean? 1 out of 6 kids in the Becker district between 4th grade and 12th grade are part of this team. And what ends up happening is during the season, we kick off right around Thanksgiving-ish for the new ones, and then about December for everybody else. They get to practice as much as they want up until we go nationals in April. In the summer, a lot of these kids don't have places to shoot. So by you guys' financial investment and working with Greg on this new archery range, it's gonna give these kids an opportunity to start competing with some of the other towns in the area. I'll say that Malacca is one of the bigger ones. They have a nice range. Foley's at one of our competitors. Within the state, this is the big region to be in. We actually kick butt, don't we? Right, so what you don't see and what's really cool is a lot of these are our younger archers. And so these guys will walk in right next to seniors. And how many of you guys outshoot seniors regularly? We have a lot of liars on the program too. We have 53 coaches. In order to make this thing work, we have to have that many coaches. We probably bump up a little bit this year. We had 1,200 hours volunteered just from coaching last year alone. That again is only from about Christmas time until April. And so this really, like I was born in a Catholic dairy farm, so I thought I knew what a big family was. But this is like a massive archery family. And when my family moved to Becker, we didn't realize what the community was. I'll be honest, we used to make fun of Becker until we moved here, and I feel really bad because it is one of the nicest towns. My sister's been here longer than I have. But this really is representation. Again, 266 so far this year, but we only got about 25 tonight, so about 1/10 of the entire program. So we just want to say thank you again because it's going to give these guys an opportunity to shoot in the summer. That wasn't prepared. I'm sorry, a little nervous.
Thank you, Chad, and thank you to the Archery Club as well. Your investment into the targets has really helped us as well, make sure that this has become successful. So archers, if we could invite you up for a quick photo opportunity, that would be lovely.
I didn't know we had a picture to take.
Curled. Totally, I should have curled.
Don't worry, they'll focus you out.
Or why don't you two sit down?
We have to see over these
No,
people.
no, it ain't gonna work. No, you're right.
Yeah.
It isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
Sneak in,
Get the chairs
sneak in.
Tell you what, if we get half of you guys, maybe to take a knee like right here. That way we can see everybody.
Look at how they listen to you.
I wonder why that
He's used to giving orders.
Oh, you on your toes.
Are we able to see everybody?
This is me on my toes. How sad is that?
There we go.
Becky.
I think so. You take it, right? There we go.
There you go. That's good.
No.
Everybody gotta look over here, okay? 1, 2, 3. You guys wanna smile for a long time?
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks, boss. Everything's good.
You're free to go.
Yeah, if you guys wanna hang out, you can. I mean.
We are pretty boring. Actually, run while you can.
That was cute.
Yeah. You don't get out there in 30 seconds, you gotta stay.
All right, is there anybody else here then for guest and open forum? If not, we will move into committee reports. So Personnel Committee met to discuss the police chief interview timeline and evaluation forms. So I believe those were all emailed out, and those interviews are going to be coming up next week. How about EDA?
EDA, there we go. EDA, we met last night. Talked about, main thing on our discussion was the RBA, so it's a 9C on our agenda for tonight, so we'll save, discussion for that, and then we just had some other updates as well.
All right. And then the Police Department City Hall project update.
The steel worker around the garage doors on the north side has been completed. Block work continues. They just moved over here to the new entrance area to start today. And then we have a progress meeting this Thursday, which we do every other Thursday with the architect and the contractor, just to go over the project.
All right. Any other meetings that were missed? If not, we're going to move into public hearings. So the certificate of delinquent utilities and weed grass charges with Mark Ebensteiner, and I'm going to go ahead and open the public hearing at 5:07.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So I'm here to present on the item with certification of delinquent utility charges and weed grass removal charges. So the City Council did call for the public hearing on October 1st. On the utility side, the city does have the authority to certify delinquent water and sewer charges. So as staff, we put together a list of charges that were 60 days past due, more than $50, and we notified them by mail on October 2nd. So those notices went out, total amount of $20,446. We had 101 notices that went out. When I wrote the RCA, we had 74 delinquent accounts remaining for $16,515. As of this afternoon, we had 60 remaining for a total of $14,751. So we have collected a little less than $6,000 since we had started the process. So the full list is included in Exhibit A of the attached resolution, so the PIDs and the amounts due on those. And then we will take payments through November 18th at 4:30. So we'll approve the full list with the resolution, and then as those payments are made, we'll remove them from the list. And then after the due date, that remaining list will be sent to the county for certification. On the weed and grass charges side, city also has authority for the services that were provided to those properties on the weed and grass removal. We did have 18 properties originally for $2,700 for the work completed on June 24th and 25th. And those parcels were also notified by mail on October 2nd. Have not received any payments on those yet. So they also have until November 18th at 4:30 to make payment on those. And then that list is included as Exhibit B in the attached resolution.
Okay. Does council have any questions for Mr. Ebensteiner? Anybody here for the public hearing on the delinquent and weed grass charges? I'm not seeing anyone.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
We are closing the public hearing at 5:10 PM.
Great. And with that, just as it's noted, so the additional actions request would be a motion and a second for Resolution 2491 for the delinquent utilities, and then 2492 for the weed grass removal charges.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2491, certifying delinquent utilities to the tax rolls.
I'll second that.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor can state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2492, certifying weed and grass removal charges to the tax rolls.
I'll second that.
Motion from Rick, second from Mike. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board committee and consultant reports. Beverage cart purchased for Pebble Creek Golf Club. Mr. Kua.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thanks for the opportunity to stand in front of you this evening. So as part of our capital improvement plan for 2025, we've identified the need to purchase a new beverage cart unit for Pebble Creek. The reason that I'm standing in front of you in 2024 is, like a lot of pieces of equipment, we're experiencing a very long lead time from the point of purchase to receiving it. So we've talked with Golf Committee and expedited the process a little bit just to ensure that should it be approved, we have a new unit available to us to use in the spring without any delay. So we engaged kind of the three main players in this industry in Minnesota and received quotes and specs that are included in your packet from Versatile Vehicles, which is Easy Go and Cushman, and Yamaha Golf and Utility, as well as Club Car. We're working with staff. We've historically, like, our current unit is a 2013 unit that we've just been on a year-to-year lease with. We've got a couple of utility vehicles when we do need to run multiple beverage carts for tournaments, that we have drop-in units that we purchased at a pretty responsible rate, that we can retrofit in just to serve 3 nines on those larger tournaments. But most days there's just one unit that's running. And we've seen on these year-to-year leases, the monthly cost of an old unit like that has just continued to rise and rise, as well as a leased brand new unit has gone from, in 2020, we pay it for it 6 months on and then 6 months off. So our current unit we're paying $450 a month for 6 months. And it's had a lot of troubles. The capacity of what it can carry on the course is nowhere near as what we're presenting and recommending tonight. Obviously, the more capacity it has on the beverage cart, there's less restocking times. It's more time for sales. So what we are presenting tonight is to move forward with the purchase from Versatile Vehicles for a 2025 brand new beverage unit. We've talked with Golf Committee about it. We've reviewed the specs with our maintenance team that services the carts, as well as our beverage cart operators to make sure that they were comfortable with what we're recommending. And we're all in alignment, looking for a motion and a second to allow staff to engage Versatile Vehicles for the purchase of a new beverage cart for Pebble Creek. In our CIP, we had budgeted $25,000 in 2025. There will be some tax on top of the quoted $22,900, but it'll still leave us below what was earmarked for that amount. So I'd be happy to answer any questions for you guys before seeking a motion.
I got nothing.
Then I make a motion that we approve the purchase of the beverage cart for the golf course.
I'll second.
Motion from Mike, second from Becky. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
2025 heavy-duty utility vehicle replacement. Mr. Scharfenkamp.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As Josh had kind of alluded to, we started to look at our capital improvement for equipment. And we have a heavy-duty utility vehicle up for replacement on next year's capital improvement plan. And as we started to look into the new units for that replacement, it was pretty apparent that the price had skyrocketed since our last lease term. The new units went from, in 2021, we had a ProGator for our sprayer that was $26,000, and the new unit this year was $37,000. $37,000. So as we were exploring that, then we started to look at some of the used options because it is a purpose-built piece of equipment that we specifically are working on projects and top dressing and specific tasks that this machine goes out. The unit that it would be replacing is from 2007, so it has lived a full life on the course at 17 years old, and we anticipate something like this being a low hour used piece that we would suggest buying would also live many years on. That said, we were able to find a 2021 identical to our other ProGators that house our spray units currently. So we have parts redundancy and ease of working on them. And just all around easier for our staff to use because they are familiar with those units already. So that said, because it is a used unit, it was an opportunity situation where we aren't sure that they're going to have this unit unless we act on it sooner than later. Where if we were to purchase a new one, for example, we may not receive that item until middle of next year, they said. So that was where this had kind of come up as we were researching those new units, where this is the more responsible purchase for what we use that machine for, and also maintains the budget where we would have had to ask for an additional larger amount if we were to recommend a new unit. So any questions on that?
Nope.
I'll just make a point to call out, thanks for considering the used unit there as well. I mean, that's, we see that, throughout the city here, but thanks again for doing that. I mean, that's, you hear about, other cities sometimes, oh, that's just new, that's the way we do it all the time, and
Right.
it makes sense here. It doesn't make sense in all cases, but it makes sense here, so thank you for that.
And that's one that we're fully confident in that unit, with that other unit being 17 years old. If the transmission wasn't going out currently, we would probably still be using that, so. That said, the way that we would propose it would be still paid out of the 2025 CIP, so that it would maintain that and not hit this year's budget necessarily.
When would you take possession of this?
They are willing to deliver it this week yet. So,
Dominoes.
it is one benefit of the used market as well. You at least know it exists and it's going to be available. So yeah, that will actually help us this fall yet close the course up because we would be able to use it for top dressing then.
Nice.
If no other questions, I would ask for a motion and second to allow staff to purchase the used 2021 John Deere ProGator from Van Wall Equipment.
Motion to allow staff to purchase the 2021 John Deere ProGator from Van Wall Equipment.
Second.
Motion from Becky, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Very much.
Rural Child Care Innovation Program. Mr. Sanders.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In 2023, the city applied for the Rural Child Care Innovation Program. Sorry, it's a mouthful. This program it's put on by First Children's Finance. It's been done in many other communities throughout the state. And they operate out of not only Minnesota, but South Dakota as well, or North Dakota, maybe some of South Dakota. The reason behind this that EDA and then council had given the go-ahead to apply for was to address a lot of the shortage of childcare in the area. And this was a no-cost program that the city applied for, all of that was given by First Children's Finance. And over the past year, we've been working with a core team, and that core team is made up of city staff, the mayor, several other organizations, the Becker Schools, individuals from there, county licensors, the Initiative Foundation reps, a number of other businesses, local business owners, other stakeholders. So a big group of a wide variety of individuals from Becker and outside of that involved in childcare. And First Children Finance conducted a community analysis, a survey, and then kind of a data gap analysis. And for the public, just so that they understand the shortage, the spots needed in Becker would be, it's roughly 265 slots short of what actually is needed within this area. It did also include Santiago's zip code as well. So there's quite a shortage. Becker's not unique in that scenario, it's statewide. So as a result of that survey and the data gap analysis and kind of meeting internally with the core team and some of the work that First Children's Finance did, they produced what's called a Community Solutions Action Plan. And that's what's in your packet this evening. This Community Solution Action Plan actually details the results of that survey. It details some of the findings of what came out of that survey, what the core team looked at when establishing these 4 goals that I'll just briefly touch on. That they'll be working on the next 10 to 12 months. We've already been kind of doing that as a core team to help reduce the shortage and maybe boost providers' ability to be supported in their positions, get more people into it. One of the biggest issues with childcare is there's not a lot of money to be made. In fact, there's really very little money to be made, but it's very expensive. And many people don't go into it, and if they do, they're not in it very long. And it does cause a pretty big issue on local economies. Just a couple of stats briefly. In 2018, nationwide, this is nationwide, $57 billion in lost earnings, productivity, and revenue each year. And this is from this is a national bipartisan called Ready Nation. That's where this comes from. So they've done a lot of economic impact analysis. And then this year, it's bumped to $122 billion in lost earnings productivity. So it's a big impact on not only nationwide, but you boil that down statewide and local. A couple of key takeaways from this survey. The 215 respondents, that's kind of how many there were. That's actually a decent amount of people that responded to the survey. 25 respondents were employers, and then there were 17 childcare businesses that were also responded to the survey. A few just key findings: the availability of childcare in the local area. People perceive that generally. Parents, employees, and providers, the majority are kind of perceive it as fair or poor. 81% of parents, and then employers at 60% and providers at 64%. Some of the reasons for not enrolling: some have chosen to be stay-at-home, some can't afford it, some have adjusted work schedules. And again, this is all detailed in this report in more detail for the public if they want to read it. Some of the types of care parents prefer to use, the quality of care in the area. Majority of parents said it was poor to good. It kind of ranged, but there's like 4% that said very good. So mostly poor. And it has an impact on family planning. So 43% responded that the lack of availability of their preferred childcare option had impacted their decision to have another child. So it actually made a big difference on whether they grow their family or not. So employers, there were some interesting findings from employers. It seems like employers were willing to provide certain options to individuals to help mitigate that, so that was a good finding. So with that, there were 4 goals that came out of all of this analysis and meeting together. And they're detailed in the RCA as well as the plan. By the end of February 25, they'll build awareness of how childcare affects the workforce, community development, by educating business leaders, employers in the community. In 8 months, identify 6 sites and determine feasibility of space to expand childcare slots. Provider events to increase awareness of childcare resources and prevent access to relevant training. And open to existing childcare providers and those interested in starting a business. And then lastly, number 4, in 9 months, identify at least 3 community partnerships and create a work plan that will increase awareness and interest in the childcare profession while supporting retention and expansion of existing providers. EDA did review this at their meeting last night, and they did recommend approval of it. Many of these things that are here may seem small, and has yet to determine how far they'll go in addressing the shortage. But I also want to say that the core team individuals that are a part of that have been really committed to this. They've driven a lot of what's going on right now. They're very passionate about childcare, and I just want to say thank you to those individuals who are involved in that effort, because without people committed to an effort, as we all know, it falls through into the wayside. And it's not just the city or staff driving it, it's really people that are ingrained in the community doing that. So with that, we're seeking for approval of the Rural Child Care Innovation Plan, Community Solution Action Plan, with the approval of Resolution 2490. And I'll answer any questions.
I just want to echo the thank you to the committee. There's a lot of wonderful people, a lot of knowledge. I've learned a lot sitting on that. So thank them for their time as well.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2490, approving the Rural Child Care Innovation Program Community Solution Action Plan for Childcare.
I'll second that.
Motion from Robin, second from Rick. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank
you.
you. Administrator and staff reports. Utility rate study approval. Mrs. Franz.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you know, the previous rate study for water and domestic sewer was conducted in 2021, and that rate study provided recommendation of rates through budgeting for 2024 for those two budgets. Our intent at that time, and what we're following through tonight, is to complete a rate study for those two budgets every 3 to 5 years, and that output we can use for the next 3 to 5 years of budgeting. That study uses a cash needs approach and sets a minimum targeted cash reserve that corresponds to recommended rate actions for the upcoming budget cycles. The recommended rate actions that came out of that rate study, and it's quite a detailed study, so if you want to look at some of those details, they are included in your packet, and we have reviewed them at an executive session. But the outcome of that is that we would be looking at a modest annual increase to the rates that are recommended for the water enterprise fund. That would be a 3% increase to the monthly service fee rates and a 2% increase to the tiered usage rates for the water fund. On the domestic sewer side, for the next 3 years, we would be looking at a 5% annual increase in the base rate, along with a 5% annual increase in the tier 2 usage rates. Beyond that 3-year window, we would the model would indicate that we would need a 3.5% rate increase rather than a 5%. That fund just has a little bit narrower reserve, and so it requires a little bit higher rate increase than the water side in order to hit that targeted level that we want to have for reserves in that budget. So if we look at the details of the study, we would formally incorporate those rate actions into the budgets that will be coming forward to you in the next couple of weeks. So water and sewer budgeting are a little behind the general fund as that process flows through. So the output of this rate study would impact those budgets that are going to come forward in the next couple of weeks. We have reviewed the approach and all of the assumptions with the Budget and Finance Committee in September. We did a detailed presentation of the study and the recommendations during an executive session. We can certainly go through any of those details tonight that you might like to look at. But if we boil it down to what is that rate setting parameter, what does that mean to an individual rate customer? The average impact to a residential water and sewer rate customer would be a 3.9% increase in their annual water and sewer bill, which equates to about $35 a year in change between 24 and 25 for a typical water sewer customer. So Having said that, I will stand for any questions and let you determine what level of detail you would like to look at this evening. There is in your packet an appendix with a lot of detail, and then there is an overview if you would like me to go through more information.
I think your study supports the request that you've made. So I'm kind of getting the sense that we don't need to drill into again, but
Yeah,
I
basically.
certainly love drilling into it, but I will follow your lead.
we know you do.
Folks, folks at home, we're anticipating what our spend is for the, what's it gonna cost to provide, sewer and water for the next 3 years here, and based off that, that's where, setting the rates, so. That's the whole point of the study, I think it details it current, so. I'll make the motion, to approve to accept the, water and domestic sewer, utility rate study.
I'll second.
Motion from Rick, second from Becky. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, Mr. LaRude.
Mayor Bertram, City Council members, items for approval on tonight's consent agenda include approve the revised hiring and termination report, adopt resolution 24-89 accepting the following donations: $4,583 from Becker Youth Sports Association Youth Football for BAC improvements, and $1,000 from Diode Ventures for Freedom Days. Approve pay request number 6 and final in the amount of $28,139.43 to Latour Construction for the 2023 trunk water main improvement project. The project came in $86,220 under budget. Approve pay request number 11 and final in the amount of $352,072.51 to R.L. Larson Excavating for the 2022 street and utility improvement project. This project came in $192,472 under budget. Approve pay request number 13 and final in the amount of $359,614.13 to R.L. Larson Excavating for the 2023 Business Park Pump Station Improvement Project. This project came in $623,104 under budget. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
It's nice to hear a lot of those came in under budget.
It's always good.
It's always good, yeah.
Motion to approve the consent agenda is presented.
Second.
Motion from Rick, second from Robin. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Payment of the bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second.
Motion from Robin, second from Becky. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Anniversary announcements for the month of October. We have two that fall under the part-time category. Kathleen Fluke, who is a cook at the golf course, is celebrating 5 years. And Heather Treptow is a class instructor at the community center, and she's also celebrating 5 years. So congratulations to those individuals. And does council have anything else for the betterment of Becker? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion from Mike, second from Rick. Those in favor may state aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at 5:34 p.m.